Hey everyone, what's going on? Phoenix here, and today I have a video on 7 beginner tips if you are new or returning to Asheron's Call. I've been meaning to make a video like this for a really long time, finally getting around to it. So if you are just getting back into Asheron's Call, you've got the game set up and you are ready to play, you've picked the server that you're going to be playing on, you get to this screen, and the first tip that I have for creating a character is to use a non-extreme starting template. So you're definitely going to want to make a custom character for whatever reason. Turbine created these classes and they are not good in any way. But what I mean by a non-extreme template is if you're going to be a mage, you're going to be focus self, but don't ignore your other attributes. So you might have watch my build guide video on like my void mage and be like, oh, Phoenix does 100 focus, 100 self, 100 chord. But you're going to be in a really, really bad way if you are just starting out with 10 strength, 10 endurance, 10 quickness. So what I would recommend is get your base stats set. So if you're going to be a melee, you want to be 100 strength, 100 chord, and then use your extra points and split them up. So give yourself like 50 endurance and give yourself 50 focus and 20 self so that you can realistically buff yourself. You can survive a couple of hits with the endurance and you can do what you're trying to do, which is deal damage and hit with your main attack skill. If you are a mage, I would do something similar, but a little bit reversed, where I would give myself some strength so that I can carry my components and like some quickness so that I can get around quickly and my melee D is reasonable. I wouldn't do a 10 strength, 10 endurance starting build or that's basically what we would consider an extreme template. You know, pick your class, do all this stuff, pick your starting town, name your character, this. So then you're going to get into the game world and your UI is going to look like this. If you took the time to set up decal in advance, you're going to have a bunch of plugins. I do recommend, it's tip number 2, check out my video on the plugins that I use when playing Asheron's Call. It's an older game. There's a lot of stuff missing quality of life wise, and the plugins that people have developed over time really make up for that. So I do recommend playing with decal and plugins. Tip number 3, if you look at the map, there is this button in the corner to lock or unlock your UI. So your UI is going to look like this. It may be locked, it may be unlocked. But if you press this little button, it will unlock the UI and you can rearrange things the way that you like. So for instance, when I play, like I put my map down here, you can turn on chat windows and by default, they'll be over here. If you watch my videos, you know that I like to put them like down here. And then, you can turn off the ones that you don't need. So that's tip number 3, locking and unlocking the UI. You'd be surprised at the number of people who aren't aware of that when they first get started. It's really pretty nice the way you can customize the UI. Tip number 4, after you've unlocked your UI, you can get 10 extra quick slots by first dragging up this bottom right pane and then dragging it down from the bottom. If you drag up from the top, it just moves it. There's no other way to drag it up. So you have to move it, drag it down from the bottom, and now you have 18 quick slots for your items. So you can, put your bread down here if you want. And then when you're in combat, you can easily click there if you want to. Now you have to do some other rearranging, like moving this pane up or, whatever to not block your other stuff. Now, tip number 5 is once you get your UI the way you like it, what you can do is you can type save UI. And then when you have it perfect, you save it. And then the next time you create a character, you can simply type load UI. And if you notice, this expanded, This was already like that, so it didn't change anything, but it, if I turn on my chat windows are the way I like them now, and everything goes where I put it. That's super, super convenient for playing alts. You can just simply log in for the first time on an alt, type load UI, and it'll load it. Now, if you do /save UI and then you type like a name like /save UI recording, if I like move this here and then I hit save, now when I do load UI, I can do load UI recording and it'll load this. So let's do load UI and then load UI recording. So you can have different loadouts depending on the way you like it, which is really nice. Tip number 6, basic settings. So once you get your UI set up, we're going to go into config, we're going to go into character. And there's all of these settings that you can change. So for instance, I really like to play with side-by-side vitals instead of stacked vitals. I do recommend like disabling most weather effects, always daylight outdoors. You can also type /day and you get let there be light, and now it basically checks this box for you by typing that. Always use crafting chance of success dialog for the most part. I like to have confirm use of rare gems checked. I like to have timestamp displayed so you can see how long it's been since you've done something. This is definitely preference. And then for grouping, definitely want to share fellowship loot, and then I usually do automatically accept fellowship requests and then hit apply. You can also change the fellowship stuff in here. So if you do want to have to click a box when someone invites you to a fellow, you can take that off, but I like to leave it like that. So those are some basic settings that I do recommend. And then once you have that all set up, you can finally head out of the training hall. Now, if you've never played AC before, it's probably worth going through this training academy, but it's a pretty poor introduction to the game. It's much better to just go talk to Jonathan, turn in the academy exit token. So when you exit the training hall, you're going to be level 5, and you have to get to level 10 to use your facility hub gem. So I would, first off, you'll talk to the path warden and hand in your path warden gem, and you'll get a level. And then you can use the supply key and get some basic gear, including a trinket that gives you plus 4% increased experience. Now, if you don't want some of this gear, so I think what did we end up making? Nothing. We'll just say we ended up making a mage, so we're going to end up using like the robe and this setup. Now we can hand these items back that we don't want, get rid of the burden, and get some useful items. So you can get sturdy iron keys, which aren't really that useful, but you can get steel and granite, and you can even I don't really think I consider this a tip, but you can keep making and deleting characters and doing this and just filling up on Workmanship 5, steel and granite if you're playing on a base emulator server. And then from here, you're going to just want to hit level 10 and then just jump into the facility hub. That's the best way to level up. It's the best leveling experience. You're going to get some really good rewards, and it's going to fast track your adventure into Dareth. So those are my 7 tips for a brand new or a new returning player to Asheron's Call. Let me know in the comments some tips that you might have that I didn't mention or that people need to know. And if you've got some more questions, also let me know in the comments, and I can make some more beginner videos like this. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. If you want to get these videos before anybody else, you can click the join button in the description and become a channel member, and you will get early access to all of my videos. Once again, thanks for watching.